So, here we are. Another story. What are we talking about today?
I'm working on it. You ready?
No. But go ahead and...
Where's the thing?
And I'm winging it.
Hey, chill out. Chill out, Airedale, all right? Y'all just put 3 wheels on the ground, go to the taxiway, and get on your boat, because it's boat time, baby.
Yeah, right?
Hey, it's another great day at Seeger's Marine. We're going to just start out talking about stories around the marina and see where that takes us today, Rick. Does that sound like a plan?
That'll be a good one.
I'm going to probably start out with one from way back that involves a sledgehammer.
I got some way backers. Go ahead. Let's see what you got.
So, way back growing up in New Hampshire, we had a few marinas around where I grew up. And one of them was owned by a fellow that eventually ended up being a county councilman, county commissioner. And we'll keep his name quiet, but he owned the marina. And he also liked to have a cocktail or 2 or 10 over the course of the day. And one, I want to say it was like a Thursday afternoon, because we had been down getting the boat ready for Friday to go out, go see our friends. And we left, and he was doing pretty good at that time. And apparently, another fella pulls in, like 36-foot sport fish, pulls up, wheels over to the fuel dock, is honking his horn for service. The owner kind of shuffles over, maybe a little bit wobbly, and says, "Hey, what can I do for you?" Guy's like, "I need $100 worth of gas, blah, blah, blah. Here's 120, start pumping." And that didn't sound so well with him. And then the guy gets down out of the fly bridge, gets down by the deck there, and the owner's walking over with the gas pump, and he's like, "And make sure you put it in here in gas, not in the rod holders." And that was it. The owner turns around, hangs up, and he was probably 40 years old at this point. So not a spring chicken, probably had some experience, right? Not an 18-year-old, gas pumper, 16-year-old gas pumper. The owner turns around, hangs up the gas pump, goes trucking into the shed, opens it up, walks out on the dock with a sledgehammer, looks at the guy and goes, "Get out of my marina right now." Guy's like, "No, you're gonna fuel my boat," and reaches in, takes 120, throws it in the cockpit and says, "Get out of my marina right now." Guy goes, "I'm not leaving. Pump my gas." The owner takes the sledgehammer, whack, hole in the side of the boat. Woo! He's like, "You leaving?" The guy's like, "Oh, you're gonna pay for that." And he rears up, takes another whack. That time the guy got the hint and started undoing his lines and left. But that was a pretty famous story for
he
a
probably
long
still collected
time.
for it, though. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah.
I don't think you get away with that anymore.
Yeah, we probably didn't get away with that too well then. I wouldn't even think. I don't know.
Well, if you're like gonna be connected enough that you can get elected as a county commissioner, I'm gonna guess. Back in those days, you had some friends that could wash some stuff under the bridge, as they say.
Well, yeah. Well, another one I got. Well, I got a few of them from Florida. But
Rick, why do I not imagine you got a couple hundred stories?
Well, let me see. Yeah, 70 years out of the water, I probably forgot some of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was a marina in Steenhatchee.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunately not there, along with the restaurant there I used to go to. But I was on a delivery with an owner. The owner was aboard. Owner had a dog, medium-sized dog. Well, between Andy and and Dino. Okay,
Yeah, so
somewhere,
about a 60-pound dog.
yeah, somewhere in that area. So I told him before we went into Steve Hatchie, I said, now, I says, the owner of the Marina is pretty strict. He said, you got to keep your dog on a leash. Okay. Yeah. We go there. Here comes the owner. I said, where's the dog? He said, well, he slipped out of the collar. Bull crap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nothing. This was like about 8:30 at night. Along about 11 o'clock, I'm just thinking about closing up the doors and everything, you know. Talking to the owner. Next thing I hear, boom, shotgun in the air. The owner's got the dog on a rope. You know? He says, I fired the gun to let you know how serious this is. He says, the next time, I'm not going to be shooting the shotgun up in the air. Keep that damn dog on a leash. End of story. Needless to say, he kept that dog on. We were there a couple of days, you know. I'm trying to get out of there. We went in there because the weather was bad. Yeah. It was okay for me. I would have kept going, you know. But he was getting beat up pretty bad. You know, he complained and all of that. We went to Steve Hatchie. We were there like 3 days waiting on the weather to get nice enough to get him around to Apalachicola where I could go inside with him, you know. So yeah, one of those.
Yep.
You know, they're not used to the ocean.
Right.
And they want these big ocean boats.
Right.
You know. And I've got 2 or 3 that I'm running right now. Boats that I run. The owners are the same one.
Yep.
That 55 Alexander, the Ocean Alexander, I got to go get out of Charleston. That people live up in Colorado. They get nervous when there's a 20-footer goes by them at high speed in the lake because it creates too much of a wake. I take them out in the bay they got the 40 Tierra here now.
Yeah.
I carry them out in the bay, you know, you know, that's not nothing against anything, you know. It's just that they're not used to oceans.
Or even waves. And the other thing, too, is their ideas of boats. I think a lot of people think that the boat's going to be like a pontoon boat, or they forget that when they were a kid, they didn't care about rocking and rolling. It was fun. And like the woo, psh, psh, is great. You get over 30 and that doesn't seem to be quite as big a thrill.
No, I mean, they ride motorcycles and, you know, they do full wheel. And I mean, they're pretty active folks. You know, they're great people. They're very active folks. And, you know, they're great people, but they're not used to the ocean.
Right.
It's something new.
I guess what I was trying to say, Rick, is it's like people that get out on a sailboat that have never been on a sailboat before. It goes to about 10, 15 degrees of heel. All of a sudden, the boat's on the side, and everyone's like, is this supposed to lean like that?
Yeah, the gunnels ain't the water. Normal? You're not sailing right? It's
like, yeah, exactly. It's like, no, this is normal. And you get, you know, and you've been on the power boats when it's lumpy and it's like, whoa, and everyone's like, you know, everyone that's an old salt is like, oh man, this is going to be a little harder to cook dinner. And, you know, everyone that's doesn't have salt behind their ears is like sitting there going, we're cooking dinner? How? And it's like, look, I guess that's part of boating is you get used to things not being normal.
Right.
You just, that things are going to be, and there are some days we've all had those trips where flat, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Gulf's a lake and it's no big deal. That doesn't happen in the Atlantic too much, but I've been on a trip in the Atlantic where we came out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, headed south. We could have run to Boston that day. It was that flat.
Right.
I mean, wide open lake. And
North Atlantic, that's a rare, rare occurrence.
Well, and I would think the east coast of Florida, that's a pretty rare occurrence too, because I would imagine
you get a lot of rollers. I mean, you know, it's not bad if, you know, you're used to it, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't want to make people sick. These are great people. I don't want them to get sick and, right. Oh, I don't like this, you know. I want to give them a bad experience. That's it.
Right.
That's the whole object. But anyway, I bet you got another story.
Oh man, put me on the spot.
Well, it's your turn.
So, I'll open it up.
Uh-oh.
I will even open this. Let me ask you though. Have you ever fallen off of one of your docks?
I haven't fell off a dock, but I have walked off the end of a boat. I'll tell you that story later.
All right. So, well, as a lot of my stories from my younger days, it involve a couple of drinks and a girl. So when I was, yeah. So when I was in Colorado, I was very single and took this girl out on a date. We went out on a pontoon boat, cooked her a nice dinner, bottle of wine, everything's groovy. And our fuel dock was a big rectangle and it had its own containment system, but we had to disconnect that for the winter and actually drag that up on shore. Whereas our other docks we could leave in the water, but we had to worry about the ice crushing the fuel dock. So we had a little ramp from the main dock to the fuel dock, and so there was, and it was only like 2-3 feet, but so there's this little gap there, and we're docking, and I'm thinking everything's going pretty good, and I'm feeling good about myself, and then I'm like, she's like, "Where's the bathrooms?" And I'm like, "Oh, the bathrooms are right up there," and I stepped. And then I realized that there was no wood there. And as I looked down, I could see the lights knowing I was going in the water. So, no big deal. I just splashed in, got up, got out, said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed." So, needless to say, I didn't get a second date.
I bet. Yeah.
That's probably my most embarrassing story of falling off a dock. One I should have known that I was on every day. You said you walked off the front of a boat?
No, I walked off. Okay, what happened? We had to put our outriggers down to go under the bridges.
Yeah.
To get out. So, okay. Well, the antenna, I could walk back and lay down. Well, we changed the antenna. I got one that was like about 6 foot higher. This was in January. Ooh. In New York.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And we were going to go out flounder fishing. So I put the outriggers down. I was walking the antenna back. Walked off the end of the damn boat. Didn't hit the swim platform.
Were you guys underway?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thank God. If we were underway, I wouldn't be here telling you this. If I did not have a swim platform and fell right alongside of it, I probably still wouldn't be here telling you this because I had boots, I had, winter clothes on. I fell right alongside of the swim platform. I grabbed it and had a hell of a job getting my butt up on top of it. I mean, I was just in the water a couple of minutes and I was, it was that cold. So it was, it's funny now because I'm here.
Yeah.
But, it was a very serious situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So where I grew up, the State University for New Hampshire is there, and they had a crew team, and they were doing a fundraiser in the fall, and New England in the fall, the water's probably already back down to 50 degrees right now. This is inland a little bit, so we got a little bit warmer, but guarantee the Atlantic, like where I grew up right now, you don't want to go in without a wetsuit at all. But we did when we were kids. Yeah, we'll get to the hypothermia stories next. So they have this fundraiser, and it's they're doing a big row around the bay, and a big storm kicks up, and they all had to wear life jackets because it's a university sponsored stuff and all that. Everybody that stayed with the boats got rescued. There were, Good Samaritans, the coach boats, all that stuff. It worked out the way safety plans are supposed to work out. The 2 people that went to swim to shore did not make it. They got hypothermia and drowned.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yep. and I guess that's another thing that probably a safety tip from the boat guys: stay with the boat.
So always stay with the boat, because it's easier to find a boat than it is to find you.
Or as Chef once said in a very famous movie, "Gosh darn right, Chief, never get out of the boat."
You're right.
Needless to say, because of that, the afterwards, one of the shakeouts was we actually had to take a swimming test to be on the sailing team. Imagine that.
Jeez,
what a novel idea, right?
Who would have thought, right?
You need to know how to swim if you're going to go out on a boat on a lake. But the other thing too was the university provided dry suits. And I can tell you what an amazing difference being in the water with a dry suit and not is. Because we used to undo the boats in March and we didn't put them back up until like November. And, the pond in March was like 45, 50 degrees. I mean, it was, if you had a cardiac problem, you could die. If you were in there for more than 5 minutes, you were in trouble. And so that's kind of my cold weather story like that. But we both talked about falling in. Have you ever gotten hypothermic in the water?
I don't know if you'd actually call it hypothermic. I've gotten out of the water in a wetsuit where, I was in a car with the heater wide open for 30, 40 minutes and I was still cold. So, I don't know what.
Yep.
I went home and got in the bathtub after that, a hot bath and all of that. So, I'm probably close.
Yeah.
I'm probably close. But later on, company that I was with, I had a Poseidon suit. So, not only was that dry, but I had
a warmer.
Well, I had an air pressure on here.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Put air into the suit.
Yeah.
So with a wide belt, I could bring up, as long as stuff was under the water, you'd be surprised. I brought a 125 horsepower motor out of about 140 foot of water, up to probably about 40 feet. That's as far as the hoist had come down. As soon as I hit the hook, I put it on the hook and it went up, and I was able to get it up that far.
Who dropped a motor in 150 feet of water?
Guy bought a brand new boat, went out with it, forgot to put in the plug.
Oh, Lord.
Forgot to put in the plug.
So did you have to take the motor off the back of the boat, or did you get the whole boat back?
No, take the motor off the back of the boat. I couldn't do nothing with the whole boat. I don't know what they ever did with the boat, if they went down and got it later or what they did. But he said, salvage the motor. We salvaged the motor.
Yeah.
Yep. Which that was a pain in the neck.
Always. I think that's what I know with having to do a lot of work on tying anchors for various like summer camps and stuff like that. People don't realize that, you get used to being underwater, you can move, but you don't move nearly as well as you do up in dry land. It's definitely different, whether you're in a ton of gear like the Poseidon suit or just a little bit of stuff like a wetsuit.
Yeah, but that was the olden days too. Now you get a mix.
Yeah.
Your air's already mixed for you. Back in the day, you had 380s. You carried a bottle of night and a little bottle of ox between the 380s, and you did your own mix.
Yeah. Well, yeah. that was a little more of a yeah. Let's try not to get narcs too bad.
A little more ox there, buddy.
Yeah. Too much nitro. So, my hypothermia story ends up in high school when we're absolutely young and dumb and ready to go surfing. So, beautiful 70-degree day, gorgeous. it was probably May, but the water's still like 50, 60 degrees. Because I think if we ever hit 70 degrees growing up in New England, that was like the greatest beach day of your life. You were like, the water was awesome, I'm never coming out. And you can still get hypothermic in 70, but if you're at the beach, you're in and out, and it's usually 90 anyhow.
You don't come out with blue lips, you weren't in there long enough.
Right, yeah. So we go down, me and my buddy go down, and we go surfing, and we catch a couple waves, we're having a good time. And then I look up, and we're probably about a half an hour in there. I kind of was aware. I wasn't as aware as I am now of all the dangers of water. Just didn't have that much life experience. And I looked up, and I'm like, why are the houses fuzzy? And I look over at my buddy, and I'm like, do those houses look fuzzy to you? And he goes, yeah. And I go, we need to go in right now. And so we paddled in, got in. We got out, looked at each other, and I'm like, ha, you're purple. And he's like, yeah, so are you. And I'm like, we're not supposed to be that color. That's like,
right?
Your lips are supposed to get that color, but not your whole body.
Right.
And so, so that was, and literally we're shaking, and probably for about, I don't know, probably a half an hour, like you, the half an hour and that sort of stuff. Luckily it was sunny and like 75, 80 degrees out. So we just had the towels over us, the sun baking on us, and we were young. So another 20 minutes, we were back in the car like, yeah, let's go. Where are we going out to tonight? Who's having a party? So that one turned out okay. And then, I guess we'll throw this in here now, is that we are getting to that time of year that I call the Campbell soup weather. Because when, we get those occluded fronts, and it'll kind of rain and drizzle, and it'll be 50 degrees.
Rain that freezes, that makes you sick of
Yeah, 50 degrees with about 10, not just enough that the wind chill makes it down to like about 40.
Yep.
And it's just wet enough all day that you're going to, even if you sweat in your clothes, you're going to get cool, and you're going to get that cold down the back of your neck, and then you get the shivers. And the only thing that'll get rid of it is a hot Campbell soup and a hot shower. And you can go in and crank the heat in 80 degrees, and it's still not going to get it out of you.
You see that?
Yep.
That much cherry brandy will warm your last nerve.
I have not tried that. I will have to.
Story.
Okay.
Rockaway Beach. This is years. I was about 20 years old then.
Yeah.
So
wait a minute.
Yeah, I was 21.
No, I can't believe it. No.
Yeah.
I know you're lying.
Yeah, Jesus was about 11, but But anyway, we went. It was a cold night, but it was a beautiful night. A full moon and all of that. There was a girl involved. Of
course, yeah.
So she just moved to Rockaway. She just got an apartment out there, So we're walking the beach, nice big thing. Time we got back, holy crap, she happened to have some cherry brandy. And man, I took a big swig of that cherry brandy. She took a big swig of that cherry brandy, and we glowed. Right now, immediately was the very last.
There you go.
But anyway, that was a shorty but a goodie.
That's why the sheepdogs wear the keg, right?
St. Bernard's.
St. Bernard's. Yeah. There
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
Yeah. I know what you just reminded me of. I forgot when I lived in Colorado. The weather is wild up there. We were up in the mountains.
Oh yeah.
9,000 feet at the lake level. And so one 4th of July. Great old day. I even had a Jeep way back then. We all pile into my Jeep. We run down to a reservoir a little ways away. It was a little warmer water, and swimming was allowed. There wasn't any swimming allowed in the reservoir right by where I live. And so we all went down there, had a good time, and I think I had 6 people in my little Jeep CJ. Like somebody was sitting on like the center console, and everybody, all that stuff. I mean, we're probably a state cop's wet dream. And we get down there. I think we had fishing rods even, and go have fun for the afternoon. We all go rolling back, and we're like, oh yeah, it's the 4th, fireworks. And one of the kids lived in the town where the fireworks are going to be. We just pulled into there because we had to drop him off anyhow. And we head down to the bar to go watch fireworks, have a couple of drinks and then go watch fireworks. Well, all of a sudden, the sky, you can't see the stars out anymore. And we're sitting there going, huh? And the temperature was probably at that time, it was like 60 degrees, which where we were in the mountains because it was so cold.
5,000 feet, 60 degrees, you're probably doing good.
Yeah, you were still wearing shorts and a t-shirt thinking this is great. Well, then it got a little colder, and it got a little colder. And then it started snowing. And we went, oh, no way. So we go, and we live close, so we all walk over to his house, and he didn't have a scrap of clothes left in his closet because we all had something on it. Trying to stay warm. We went back to the bar, watched some TV while they were because they delayed the fireworks while it was snowing. And literally, we walked out in like an inch and a half of snow to go watch fireworks. By the time it cleared out, they had the fireworks, and then we eventually got all his clothes back. But never gone from a beach day to a like ski party on the 4th of July.
Not boat related, but I've been across Donner Pass in July and August.
Oh yeah,
and it's snowing.
Yeah. Well, we had once had a company golf outing, and I think it was in Aspen, which was like a 2-3 hour drive. So we had to leave at like 8 in the morning to get there for 11, 12 tea time. And so it was our ski shops near Keystone Resort. And then we were meeting the guys in Vail and heading over to Aspen all together. And we're going over Vail Pass. Beautiful summer day, but it had been a little bit of rain and snow really early in the morning. It's like a June, late June, whatever, but it still snowed. Sure enough, there's the rental SUV 4-wheel drive upside down in the median. And it was just, I guess my point is the good news for all you boaters that ever have a problem, don't worry about it. There's people that are way bigger idiots on land.
Exactly. But I got one here in Florida. Up in the Perdido Key area, as a matter of fact. There's a boat ramp up there. It was a pretty windy day. In all, fairness, it was a pretty windy day. Guy's trying to bring his boat back on the trailer. Well, he has his wife trying to hold the line to keep him lined up with the trailer, up the side of the dock and everything. Well, she couldn't do it. There's just too much wind, And he was a real butthole. That's putting it nicely. But he finally got so aggravated. He says, let go of the line. I'll do it myself. Well, he backs up. He's hauling butt. The bow goes on the trailer. The wind takes it back off the trailer between the trailer and the dock, and he about ruined that whole boat. And he was still cursing. So, yes, there are some bad idiots out there. And he would, give all his wife's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everything was his wife's fault, the girlfriend, whatever she was. Don't know what she was. I know I would have liked to punch the dude.
Yep. Yep.
But, you mind your own business.
You spend enough time around docks and you get to see that.
Yep. Unless he put his hand. If he put his hands on it, that's something different.
Yeah, no, but
to that point,
but you'll. Well, let's put it this way: when you see the really experienced couples coming into a marina, what do you usually see? Headsets, so that she can be sitting, or he or she or whoever is the bow person, or in some cases the stern person, and then you have your helmsman. And there's nobody's got to yell, hey, It's 10 feet. How far? 10 feet. Okay. Instead of, it's 10 feet. What? If I hit this, I'm going to kill you. None of that. It's, hey, we're back in here. And it's amazing to watch because we saw a lot of great loopers last year docking. And what a difference watching people because by the time they get down to us, usually what would you say? Probably 100, 150 docking experiences?
Probably somewhere in that area, yeah. And some of them, most of them, what you're going to say, most of them are very competent. But, we got a couple here that weren't necessarily, I don't know how they got this far,
I had one guy last year. He looks at me and goes, can you believe I just bought this in Tennessee 3 days ago? And I'm like, yeah, I watched you dock. I didn't say it, but I thought it for sure. Anyhow. But yeah.
Well, what I like the big fish, like the 72 Viking. I got controls in the cockpit. So I could be down in the cockpit while they're fishing and work the fish with them.
Yep.
But also what that does, that lets me bring that 72 footer in by myself because I got the line on my mid cleat. I just come in there, whip around that cleat, boom, and there I am.
Yeah, and we did have a guy over at Palm Harbor who had he liked his electronics, and he might have owned a Harley dealership here and there. So anyhow. He had the full-on IPS with the remote. So I'd see him, I'd be getting ready to dock for him, and I'd be out there.
Oh, he's got ISP drives?
Yeah, and I'd look up, and he's just sitting on this outside of he's not even anywhere near the controls or the steering. He's sitting outside with the remote going, do. And I'm like, oh my God. And he'd just drive it right in by himself. And I'm like, holy cow. So you had to learn how to do it with absolute skill, but it's amazing how much technology now is helping people to dock.
Oh, ISP drives are great.
Till you hit the bottom.
Yeah, well, there's people that like them. There's people that don't. There's a lot of pluses and minuses like there is with anything else. ISP drive, the minuses, you can take that whole foot off of there.
Right.
But the good news is they're designed so the boat don't sink, so you just lose the foot.
Yeah.
But, that's expensive loss. And they are a lot of maintenance. Everybody that I know that does have them claim that they do have a lot more maintenance with them than,
Yeah.
Plus, there's a lot more moving parts and everything. So, obviously, I'd kind of go hand in hand. But anyway.
And thinking back to some of the craziest marina stories, you told us about the party at Bridgepoint that went till way past 2. But if you want to talk about crazy marina parties that have spilled over to the entire town, all you got to do is go to Key West for Halloween.
Yeah. Or you could go to Beaufort for New Year's.
Yeah.
New Year's Day, usually.
No, not as wild as Key West.
Why?
Well, let me ask you, in Beaufort, do they wear paint as shirts?
Well, no.
Because the girls do in Key West.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
So Beaufort is pretty wild?
I think they do a body painting thing yearly down there, actually.
At
Key West.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for Halloween.
Beaufort in January, I don't think we're doing any body painting.
Right. Yeah.
It's a little too cold. But yeah, they do New Year's Day. There's a lot of people that go there. Usually what we'd do, we go down there for the New Year's Eve party because they're a great fireworks show. So we'd stay there New Year's Day, and then we'd usually go up to Ocracoke. Ocracoke in January. I mean, the only thing you got up there is the locals.
Yeah.
You have no tourists. Everything's enjoyable. You go to the coffee shop. They got a great pizza shop. I mean, the guy that has it, he was an Italian from Brooklyn, so he knows what a pizza is.
You get a free drink if you walk in and go bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, right. Who's your doctor? Yeah, Dr. Vinny Butts. Vinny Butts. Yeah, get a little Rodney in there, right?
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, so it was an enjoyable trip up there that time of the year.
And sadly, with that, another episode has come to a close. I'm Ted Germing signing off.
I'm Rick White. I'm signing off too. We'll see you the next time on As the Marina Turns. Y'all have a great day.